Loop 6. Eighteen! 18! It's almost 8 o'clock now. Wake up already. I opened my eyes. Karin! Pin, who was standing next to the bed, gave me a shocked expression. What is Ekarin, Pitin? This is Pin. I sat up and turned to look at Pin, who was looking at me with a terrified face. Ekarin Wichitkul, 22 years old. He is a student of the Faculty of Business Administration. Where did the letter S come from? Never mind. I probably mistook his name for someone else's. Pin looked at me like I was insane. I waved my hand to tell her not to mind what I just said. What day is it today? 18. Well, why did you sleep here? Did you spend all night preparing the conference's presentation here? What Ben said confirmed that I had returned to the same point in time again. Even though I'm tired of waking up to the same situation repeatedly, the goal I had now made me feel that my life had some meaning. Yes, I pulled the blanket off of me. This time, I intended to act sick in the middle of the meeting room again, so that during the day, Singh would be on duty instead of me. Then I would sneak out to find a student named Ekarin. There was one thing I discovered from trying to go back in time to search for that young patient's name. That was, I could not turn back if time if the patient had not died. After receiving sleeping pills from Singh, I tried to sleep at the dining table but woke up in the same place 15 minutes later. I had to wait until the afternoon shift. Decided to continue my shift and took care of the same old cases until the patient arrived. I tried to save his life, but the result was as expected. He died. What I did next was gather the patient information as much as possible and then secretly went back to sleep in the resident room as soon as I got his name without waiting for the shift to end. Thanks to Facebook's strict naming conventions, it made it easy for me to find people with his first and last name on Facebook. I tried typing in Thai first, but I could not find the Facebook page of the person I wanted. When I tried transliterating his name into English, I came across an account of a person who was probably the student. We had 15 mutual friends, all of whom were my female colleagues. I would remember this information so I could tease them. I clicked on Ekarin's profile picture as I was heading into the Faculty of Business Administration building. It was exactly what I expected. This young man was a famous person in the faculty, or even in the university. There were so many followers that I got jealous. He was a young man with good skin, the in-trend Korean style haircut and hair color, and sharp eyes that girls would fall in love with when they looked into them. The version of him I remembered had a bloody face and a hard collar. That was why I did not think he would be this good looking. I scrolled down and saw a couple of photos of Ekarin and a beautiful student with enormous eyes. This must be his girlfriend. With his face, it was not a surprise he had such a beautiful girlfriend. Unlike me, always wore my face out of deprivation. No woman would be brave enough to get near a person with an owl-like face like me. I walked into the faculty building and stopped on the ground floor. There were tables and chairs arranged for students to sit and read there. Both male and female students were walking around holding their study materials. Many eyes fixed on me. I looked down at myself and realized just now why everyone kept staring at me. I was wearing a short lab coat with my name, Dr. Tin Suprasert, embroidered on it in green, pale navy pants, and wide blue and white shoes from the brand Crocodile Head. With my tall figure, it made me stand out even more. I walked straight to a group of four female students who were reading books. Excuse me, I said, interrupting their conversation. They turned to look at me with a surprised expression. Do you know this guy? I handed the phone to the girl closest to me. She took my phone and looked at it. Oh, I know him! She turned the screen of my phone to her friends. Everyone seemed to know this person. He's the senior in my faculty. His name is Tall. Tall? Such a cute name. But it was normal for men with the letter T as their initials to be good looking. I see. I put my phone in my lab coat pocket. Do you know where I can find him? I'm not sure either. You might meet him if you sit and wait around here for a while. The girl with blonde brown bob hair next to me replied. But he always comes down to eat around here. You'll see him soon. The other girl said. Seems like you know everything about him. Well, I'm his fan. The young student acted shy. A person who's rich, handsome, and good at sports? I want him. What a slut. I'll tell his girlfriend, Mai. Do tell, and tell her I'm queuing to be the next girlfriend. In a couple of months, it'll be over like all his ex girlfriends. I smiled sheepishly, not knowing how to respond to the girl's excitement, so I said thank you again and excused myself from that area. I walked to a bench in the garden in front of the faculty building and sat there, looking at the students passing by. Based on the girl's reaction, Tall seemed like a wild person. When I was a student, I immersed my life in textbooks. The girls I saw most often were the nurses, followed by single female doctors who were still single until now because they did not have the time. Getting to experience this atmosphere was quite eye opening. I sat there for a long time before raising my watch to see the time. It was already 15 minutes past noon, but there was still no sign of Tall. Maybe Tall's face is in real life and the one on Facebook may not look the same, making me unable to recognize him. I got up, intending to ask the younger man sitting not far away where the cafeteria was. Most of the students were probably there by this time. Tall, what should we eat today? Someone's voice made me stop. I immediately turned to the source of the voice. My heart was pounding with excitement. A group of male students were walking past me. One of them was a young man who stood out from the others in the group. He was the person I wanted to meet the most right now. I was right about the face on Facebook and in reality, not looking the same because the real one looked much better. So much that I felt frustrated. So much that I had to ask myself how much merit he made to have a face like that. I had to quickly make myself feel better by thinking that at least I was probably a lot taller than him. Let's go to the Faculty of Humanities cafeteria, said a man named Tall with a calm expression on his face, both hands in his pockets. What? The rest of the gang booed. Looking forward to see your wife like this. Do you still need us to eat lunch with you? Not your business, Tall smirked. I stood still. This kid was really wild. His gesture made me feel like I did not want to get close to him because of some strong rays radiating from him. But Tall was right in front of me. My mission had to be completed. I walked straight to the group of the male students. Karin! My deep voice was loud enough to make people around me turn around and stare. Tall stopped walking. The entire group turned to look at me. The feeling of being stared at by eyes that are filled with questions made me extremely uncomfortable. Yes, he looked at me, raising his eyebrows slightly. I'm an ER doctor, I explained quickly. Tonight, don't drive anywhere. There will be a serious accident. You could die. Have you ever heard the phrase, as silent as a graveyard? That was what happened after I finished my sentence. It was not only Tall that froze like a stone, but his friends did as well. And then I realized that I had become a madman in a doctor's uniform. I stood staring at the straight line on the monitor, wanting to cry. I turned to look at the body of the patient lying on the stretcher. No pulse, no breath. Even though Tall's friends dragged him away from me as soon as they regained consciousness. I could only hope that what I said that made me look like a madman would stir some worries in his heart. I returned to continue the afternoon shift from Sing at 4 p.m. with a peaceful mind, keeping on working without taking a nap in the dining room. Shortly after I intubated the uncle with asthma, I heard a sentence that made my blood freeze. The accident patient is unconscious. I walked over and looked at Tall's body. It covered his beautiful face with blood. There was a breathing tube coming out of the right corner of his mouth. I reached out and squeezed Tall's pale and cold hand. My neck hung downcastly. I told you, why didn't you believe me? I said, letting go of the soulless body. Maybe it was my fault for saying something that sounded so unbelievable. Instead of believing me, he must have thought I was crazy and did not take my words seriously, leading to the accident all over again. Find a new way, Tim. What I did might seem too reckless. How would I prevent Tall from driving out at night? What would make him believe my warning? End of loop 6.